Right now, yes you, have people going to your website, looking at products, and not ordering a single thing. Which means if you don't have a way of bringing them back and buying, the money you're spending on ads is slowly going to waste. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a high converting browse abandoned flow inside of your email platform, whatever one you're using. In this video, I'm gonna be doing it inside of Klaviyo. This is gonna target people who view a specific product on your website, but don't go any further in the funnel, such as adding it to cart or placing an order. Now, I've used this flow to generate tens of millions of dollars in lost sales for e-commerce brands. Today, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to do the same. It's important to understand that this is not a cart abandoned flow, and this is not a checkout abandoned flow. This is a browse abandoned flow. Somebody looked at a specific product and then left without going any further. And so if you go inside of Klaviyo or whatever platform you're using, you can head over to metrics, and the specific metric that we are going to be using to fire this flow is going to be this viewed product metric, which in this store, you can see that this is firing whenever somebody looks at that specific product page. Somebody looks at a product page, and right here we can see on October 29th, there were 201 people who we have their email address and they looked at a product page. These are 201 potential people that we could send this email flow to and recover sales. If you do not see this viewed product section, this trigger right here inside of your Klaviyo, or it's not showing any numbers, then what you have to do is you have to disable your integration with Shopify, whatever platform you're using with Klaviyo, and then re-enable it. That should fix this and get it to work. Every once in a while it breaks, but disabling, re-enabling usually fixes it. If you have a custom coded website or anything like that, you're gonna have to talk to a developer or something. But now let's get into actually creating this flow and the exact strategy that we've used to generate millions of dollars in recovered revenue. So if we go to flows here, we can create a flow. Now there are a couple different options that we could do. We could see right here, there is a template from Klaviyo called the browse abandoned flow. You could also build your own flow, but in this case, I'm going to just use their template right here. I'm gonna name it test browse, and then we are going to create this, and we're gonna look at the triggers and the filters. You can see that the trigger right here is that viewed product metric that I was just telling you. So if we click use template, Klaviyo is gonna generate it for us, and it's going to plug in this flow right here. And you can see right here has the trigger, it waits 2 hours, and then it sends this browse abandoned email, which we can view it right inside of here. But even Klaviyo gets some things wrong, which I wish they didn't, but they do. So if we click into this trigger, you can see that this is what's firing the flow, this viewed product metric we were just talking about. And then they have profile filters right here, which there's one missing. Let's see if you can find it. But essentially what this profile filter is saying is before anybody receives any of these emails or anything within this flow, it's gonna double check that the profile follows these rules. So this rule right here is checkout started 0 times starting this flow. That's correct. We wanna make sure anybody in this flow has not gone to checkout, because that should fire a different flow, the checkout abandoned flow, which we want to treat differently. Then also placed order 0 times to starting this flow. If somebody places an order, we don't want them to receive these emails. And then also has not been in this flow for the past 30 days. It's correct. If somebody's viewing multiple different products, we don't want to barge them with the same flow. That's correct. However, they're missing one metric, and that is the added to cart metric. If somebody adds to cart, we obviously don't want them to send browse abandoned flow. We want them to go into the cart abandoned flow. So we're gonna say someone has added to cart. We're gonna say 0 times since starting this flow. To be extra careful, I actually kind of like to say in the last 7 or so days, because how most sites are set up is people can actually add to cart without viewing a product. So what if somebody added to cart from a collection page, they didn't view the product, then they're gonna get fired into the cart abandoned flow. But what if in that same time, that person also viewed a product? I don't want these people in the same flow at the same time. So just as like a fail-safe, I like to do this. And then boom, we're all set. It is all functionally set up correctly. Now we can build our email strategy. Now this is where most people start to mess things up, because you cannot just throw in any series of emails and expect to make sales. See, these website visitors might be interested in your product that you have to offer. That doesn't mean that getting them to buy is gonna be easy. You need to basically guide them back into the buy button without raising any sort of sales resistance. And the strategy that we're gonna use to do that consists of 4 emails. Let's get into it. So here is a simple strategy that we use that you can steal as well. There's a good balance of making sure you have the right content, but not getting too crazy or confusing. What we're gonna do is after somebody views a product, we're gonna wait 1 hour before we send this first email. We don't wanna wait a day because that person might not be interested anymore. We don't wanna wait 10 minutes because they might still be browsing on the website. So we wanna wait 1 hour. And inside this email, we wanna have a dynamic Klaviyo block showing exactly what that person left behind. We wanna give some social proof, like having these testimonials right here. And we also wanna show other products. because what if that person just viewed that product but they didn't like it? They might be interested in something else. So this is perfect. You can switch this with any sort of social proof section. You could do a social proof section and then a product section. For this specific email, we ended up deciding to mix the two right here, and somebody can shop some of the other items or go back to this item that they viewed. And I'll go over how to build this in Klaviyo. Just bear with me as I go through the full strategy. And then we're gonna wait 1 day before we send the second email. And this one, it's gonna be pretty similar. We're gonna mention their abandonment at the top. We're gonna show the item that they left behind and just keep it simple. We threw in some social proof, and we like to answer some FAQs right here. So it's gonna be specific to your brand. What are your FAQs? For this specific email, they were just pushing one specific collection. So there are a few FAQs to do with that, and then a social proof section. But really, we don't need to change anything too much. I just like to focus a little bit more on FAQs instead of social proof for this email. And then we wait another day before we enter some sort of discount. Now, it's gonna depend on your brand and your margins and what offers work specific for you, but this is what we like to do here for our brands. Typically here, it makes sense. They were so close to buying, they're not gonna buy. Maybe we can get them with a discount. So we wanna give them a discount code right up at the top of the email. We wanna address the abandonment. You can do % off, dollar off, you can do free gift, whatever. You wanna show what they left behind, and since they have a discount, maybe they don't wanna use that discount on that product. So you wanna show some other products as well. Boom, super simple. Add as much urgency as you want here. And then for email 4, we like to do something fun here by mixing in a text-based email from the team or from the founder. It's gonna be a personal touch point, which really hits well for the customer in 2026 and beyond. People just are kind of tired of seeing only corporate-based stuff. So you want to reach out from an actual person. You wanna personally remind them of that discount and give them a little bit more education on your brand. As you can see here, hey there, it's Ashley here, the Rebel Mastermind behind Rebel Bro. We started this brand with one goal in mind: create cool clothes for boys with exceptional quality made to last. Our mama supporters mean everything to us, which is why I saved this discount for you. 10% off, use this code, claim my discount. And thanks for rolling with us. You can see it feels personal, feels like an actual friend sending you an email. And that's why it works so well. As you can see, this is not as simple as just throwing in one email and calling it good. You have to set up the flow, nail the timing, and know exactly what to do at each stage. So if you want to set up a high converting flow like this and all your other abandonment flows without having to do all this work, you can book a call with us below. We built out email flows for over 200 different brands, and we've generated $150 million in e-commerce sales in the process. So if you want to see if we can help you as well, book a call below. Either way, let's walk through the rest of these emails. So that is the flow that we are going to rock with for today. Let's get into building this inside of Klaviyo. So I deleted the time delay, and we are now going to put in our 1 hour time delay right here before we send the first email. And then to build the rest of the skeleton, I'm just going to put these rest of these time delays in, and then I will slot in the emails. Now I like to send 1 day apart because somebody just showed that they were active on our website. Sometimes if you wait a week or you wait like a couple days, these people aren't going to be interested anymore. What I found it's highest converting to hit them with emails while you have their attention. So we have those 3 right here. I'm just going to duplicate this email right here a couple of times because this current email is a graphic-based email. So I'm just gonna clone these, put you here. Then for this last email, it's going to be a text-based email. So I'm just gonna drag another email section right here. And then we are all good. Let me just rename these to browser abandoned email number 2 and then 3. So here we go. We have these set up. Now something super important that we want to do is if we go into this email, we can see this icon called Smart Sending. So if you click onto this email, we scroll down, we can see skip recently emailed profiles. That's what Smart Sending is. And so if anybody's received an email within the past 12 hours, it's going to skip them from receiving this email. Now we don't want this to be turned on for flows, because what if somebody received an email campaign from you, they clicked on that email, they viewed a product, and then they left? Well, if somebody viewed a product and leaves, we want to send them this email because this is a very high converting email. So for all of my abandonment flow emails, I want to turn this specific setting off. And I see brands miss out on thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by having this turned on within their abandonment flows. So make sure you turn that one off. Now let's get to the actual creatives of these emails. Now you can either design your emails within Figma, which is what I'm operating within here, this app right here. It's where I like to design emails. I have a video on email design if you want to check it out. You can operate within Figma. I highly recommend it, but if you're short on time, you can also do it right inside of Klaviyo. So we have our subject line, and then we have our preview text. We can change this to whatever we want. Did you see something you liked? And then maybe for preview text, I'll be, we held this for you for now. With a ... I've always seen that performs better. Then we can go into actually editing this template right inside of here. You can see Klaviyo has this sort of template for us right here. It has a headline. Well, what are you waiting for? It has some text. You can edit this text directly inside of Klaviyo. The only problem is it's a bit limited in how much you can do inside of here, but it can still convert for you. And so it's okay if you're short on time to use something like this. And then you'll see this fancy section right here, which is the dynamic section. So this is what is going to change for each customer, whoever receives this email. And it's going to show them exactly what that person left behind. And so if you don't have this currently set up within your email, you can see it's just a table. And then you want to do this exact setup for this image. You want to do a top left section right here. You want the image, you want it to be a dynamic image with this variable right here. That's going to pull the product image. Link address, you want this right here. Then if you want the product name, you have it there, and then price right here. You can test if this is properly pulling for customers. I'm going to blur this out because this is a client account. You can look right here. It's going to show exactly what that left behind. And I know this is blurred, but you can see this is the product, and then it has the name and then the price. Then you'll also see some stuff pulled down here, because what Klaviyo's done here is they've inserted a product feed for you, which this is product feed. Essentially, you're able to pull in dynamic products for each customer. So you can do popular categories. You can have it be specific products that you want to show here, and you can adjust this however you want. You can include buttons, you can exclude buttons, you can have shop now buttons, whatever you want. For now, I can delete this and do this right here. Right now, we can change this to something like your order is ready to go. And something like this typically converts better for me. It's a little bit more aggressive because it makes it seem like for the customer, their order is like, all they have to do is like say yes, and we will send them their order. So usually something like that can work pretty well. And honestly, like if you're super short on time, something like this is going to convert because it's showing somebody exactly what they left behind. You can adjust the copy to be whatever you want it to be, and you can roll with this, but I want a higher converting email. So we are going to go into Figma and we are going to create one of these. So if I wanted to recreate an email like this within Figma, this is like, for example, what that could look like. We do the dynamic Klaviyo block, we give social proof, and we show other products. What I've done here is this is just a frame. It's literally just a frame, and then we have a text box right here. Let's upgrade that sock drawer. It's a sock brand. We know you're ready. And then we'll have the Klaviyo dynamic block. We'll have this button, and then we pull in some testimonials with some cool design features right here. Shop bestsellers, and then we show some of the products right here if somebody wanted to shop other items. So that would be a viable option for having this email inside of Klaviyo. And I'm not going to go into the specific designs. I have other videos on design, but essentially how we would then bring this into Klaviyo is you would have to use this slice feature here, and you can upload these emails as images. So I would export these images just like this. Just name it random stuff. Then would be able to upload the images right inside of Klaviyo. So I'm just going to do this right here and show you one of these. We want to skip the Klaviyo dynamic section slice because we're going to add that right within Klaviyo. And we'd actually want to have different slices for each one of these products. And I can show you that once we're inside of Klaviyo. I'm not going to do this now just for sake of time. If you want to see exactly how to upload these emails by using these designs, again, check out this video, which shows how to upload emails into your email sending platform, just like this. But essentially, we've downloaded all these images. Now we can upload these images within this platform. So we're going to drag in this image block right here, and then I'm going to upload everything as images. So here I am here, just uploading the images. I'm going to duplicate this image block a couple of times and then put in the rest of these image blocks. You can see how this is coming out to be. We go then to the dynamic section. We're going to drag a new section right here, delete you. So now we have the full email right inside of here. We have the logo, we have the full email right inside of here, and then we can preview this with the dynamic section if we want right here. You can see what it looks like on desktop, and then also what it's going to look like on mobile. And this looks perfect. It'll have the dynamic section here. You can also adjust the dynamic section if you want to go to the text. You can change the fonts, you can change the colors, whatever you want to do, and this is perfect. And again, the nuance with uploading as images is each image needs to have its own link. And so if we go down here, just for the sake of time, I uploaded one big image right here, which we wouldn't want to do because this section, if somebody clicks this bestsellers button, we want to link them to bestsellers. Whereas if somebody clicks this, we want to link them to that specific product, which these products are definitely fun. And so that's the only thing where you'd have to upload different image slices. That's for another video. But that's exactly how this is going to look. You can upload the links. You can pull the link address for this button. I can pull it from the dynamic section here. What this dynamic link link is going to take the person is directly to the product that they viewed. Pretty sweet. And then boom, there is our first email. And that's exactly how you are going to do the creatives. We can do that for email 2 and email 3, but what we're gonna do with the creatives is we're going to focus here. We're gonna have some different copy up at the top, maybe have a little bit more urgency, like don't wait too long. Since it's very popular at the moment, you can use wording like that in these second emails. Have this FAQ section, and then for email 3, we're gonna enter a discount, put that at the top of the email before we go into the plain text email, which when we want to build the plain text email, all that we want to do right here is when we're building the email, we click onto it, we wanna create text only email. Once we do that, it's gonna take us into this text only builder right here, and this is where we can create the email. And so I just copy and pasted the example email, this text-based email right here. I just copy and pasted this to put in this. You can see like the text only editor. Now we can put in the link. So for the link, we want to use that same formula from the other email. Now we can do that. You can go and copy and paste the prior dynamic link that we used for the button in the other email. Something you can also do if you ever want to pull specific information, if you click preview, you can actually look into someone and look at everything about the trigger, what fired, price, and everything. So if you wanted to insert the price into this email, all you have to do is you have to click. You click right here and it's gonna give you that formula, which is pretty sweet. In this case, we want the URL that the person looked at. So if I click this, this is what's going to be the dynamic section. You can see it looks a little bit different because Klaviyo added this default tag, and I'll show you that in a second. But essentially what we do here is we'll put that link in. It's gonna be event.url. And so it's gonna take that person to whatever the event URL was, which for browse abandoned email, and trigger, it's going to be take the person directly to that page. Then we have this default section. So if there's ever an issue with the link or the dynamic section stops working, there's this fallback option. So this is where you can just send people, if it didn't work, for some reason the event didn't get passed over, you can have a default where it says, for example, you can just take it to your main homepage. So maybe I'd do something like Nike.com, and then boom, now it's going to be highlighted like this. You can bold this section, and then we are all good to go. You can also pull in first name as well. If we wanted to do that, I can just click preview email, and then we're all good to go. We can click save, you can test it, whatever you want to do, and then you're pretty much all set. And then boom, all that we would have to do here is we would just need to adjust the creatives for, we already have this first email, just would need to add the creatives for this email, and then also we're all good with this one. The best part is within Klaviyo, we can set up A/B tests on these emails. So if you wanted to A/B test the headline or something, or maybe including the price within your dynamic section, we can click this create A/B test section right here. Once we click this, it's going to duplicate this email 2 times right here. So maybe for this one, I'm going to name it as email 1 test include price. So maybe I want to test including the price in the email, and then I can do the same, but I can do include price. And then this one, we're going to do exclude price. And so then what I'm going to do for the exclude price one, I'm going to go to edit email right here. I'm going to go over into this dynamic section, and I'm going to exclude the price, because maybe people will click or engage at a higher rate if they don't see the price until they go to the page. Then what I can do here is I can exit, I can click done, and I can go back in, configure the A/B test right here. So we have the include price, going to show the price right here, and we go to the exclude price, we're going to see that it's not there. That's perfect. And then we can publish this test if we want right here, but I'm not going to do that in this case. And then you can let this test run and then check in on the results. I have this doc that goes over all 4 abandonment flows and walks through these even in a little bit more depth. For the browse abandon flow with subject line ideas and preview text ideas, goes over also the site abandon flow, cart abandon flow, checkout abandon flow, and then some of the best A/B tests that you should run. If you want this doc, I'll have the link for it below. It's completely free. Highly recommend you check it out. Now you know exactly how to create a high converting browse abandon flow. There are a lot more flows to cover. So if you want to also see the complete guide to email marketing flows, you can watch this video, and I will see you over there.